Get Chelsea FC updates directly to your inbox. Plus subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. Could not subscribe? Try again later. Invalid email. Manchester City made it 16 successive league wins, setting a new top-flight record as they continued their march towards the Premier League title. David Silva inspired Pep Guardiola's men to a 4-0 thumping of Swansea at the Liberty Stadium, the diminutive Spaniards scoring twice, with Kevin De Bruyne and Sergio Aguero also finding the net. The result leaves Swansea bottom of the table, with just 9 goals scored in their 17 games thus far and pressure increasing on Paul Clement. Manchester United looked to bounce back from their weekend defeat to City and gained 3 points against Bournemouth, but the 1-0 win wasn't really the statement Jose Mourinho was looking for. They remain 11 points behind their rivals. Image. Getty Images Europe. Image. AFP. Image. Getty. Chelsea won at Huddersfield on Tuesday 3-1 to continue in third, while Tottenham returned to the top 4 with a 2-0 victory over Brighton. Liverpool and Arsenal, however, were both held to 0-0 draws by West Brom and West Ham respectively. Elsewhere, Claude Puel's Leicester made it 4 wins on the trot, as the Frenchman returned to former club Southampton and thrashed his old side, Shinji Okazaki, bagging a brace in a 4-1 win. Everton won at Newcastle. Crystal Palace beat Watford, and Burnley are in the top 6 after a late winner against Stoke. Here are 10 things we learned from the midweek action. 1. Willian makes his point. Image. Reuters. Willian has appeared in all 17 of Chelsea's Premier League matches this term, but has featured for just 806 minutes, less than 9 games in total. Indeed, the Brazilian has spent much of Antonio Conte's reign at Stamford Bridge playing second fiddle to Eden Hazard and Pedro last season, and now spending much of his time watching as the side adapts to a 3-5-1-1 formation with Hazard behind Alvaro Morata. But when given the opportunity, Willian has proven himself a difference-maker. Sharp, talented and energetic, he returned to the starting 11 at Huddersfield and put in an impressive display, scoring 1 and playing a key role in the 2 others. His link-up play with Hazard in particular was a joy to watch. 2. United thankful for David de Gea. Image. Getty Images. One man who is consistently proving his worth to Manchester United is goalkeeper David de Gea, who produced a few good saves again to keep yet another clean sheet. The Spanish stopper, widely regarded as the best in the business, made a few early stops, including one down low from Charlie Daniels to keep the scores level, and late on the 27-year-old stood tall to deny Jermaine Defoe at the near post with less than 10 minutes to play, before thwarting Ryan Fraser's effort from an injury-time free kick. It was De Gea's 9th clean sheet this season for the Red Devils, and proved crucial to helping his side secure all 3 points. DW. 3. Bournemouth can fire themselves clear of danger. Image. PA. The 1-goal deficit will have been disappointing for Bournemouth and their boss Eddie Howe, as it has become a familiar tale against the bigger sides this season. The Cherries lost by the same scoreline against both Chelsea and Tottenham in recent weeks, and only narrowly went down 2-1 to Manchester City earlier in the season. Sadly for boss Howe, his side are now without a win in their last 5 games, and have slowly found themselves being dragged towards the relegation zone. Based on this display, however, they should be more than capable of lifting themselves back up the table and away from danger. DW. 4. Liverpool struggle to break a side down at home. Again. Image. Getty Images. It was a familiar tale for Liverpool following on from Sunday's disappointment against Everton. For all their efforts, the Reds managed to breach their rivals' defense on only one occasion and struggled to carve out meaningful chances here. It will be a source of concern for Jurgen Klopp that his side's free-flowing football has seemingly abated somewhat in recent weeks. JW 5. Moyes' back three has West Ham moving forwards. Image. AFP. Few can blame David Moyes for naming an unchanged side following the win over Chelsea. West Ham were excellent against the champions, and despite some tired legs, he put out the same side again. The Hammers need to stick to a shape and the same personnel where possible, and that is certainly something Moyes is trying to do. Will the back three help push them to safety? LP 6. Newfound goal edge makes Silva a Player of the Year contender. Image. PA. David Silva's brace at the Liberty Stadium made it 4 goals in 3 matches for the Manchester City playmaker, and took him to 5 goals for the season. If there is one criticism of the Spaniard, it is that he should score more. For all his talent and quality, his ability to create and dissect defenses, the man that ranks 4th among Spain's all-time top goal scorers has reached double figures just once during his time in England. However, at the heart of this City side, Silva is thriving and is not just getting among the goals at present, but getting in the positions with increased regularity to continue scoring. Both efforts in South Wales were nabbed in the 6-yard box, and while he scored 2, he could have had 4. If he continues to bag regularly, then he could well claim the PFA Player of the Year crown ahead of teammate Kevin De Bruyne. Silva having taken center stage in City's record-breaking run. R7. Allardyce working wonders on Holgate. Image. Reuters. Everton are unbeaten in 4 on Wednesday's win at Newcastle moved the revitalized Toffees up into the top 10. Sam Allardyce is already making his mark on the Merseysiders, who have suddenly become hard to beat, and the personification of Everton's progress can be found in Mason Holgate. The England under-21 international was more often found at fullback under Ronald Koeman, but never really looked certain of himself, whether positionally or when dealing with a physical opponent. But the 21-year-old has impressed at the heart of defense. Alongside a rejuvenated Ashley Williams, Holgate is speedy on the cover, is swiftly improving his reading of the game, and looks right at home alongside the more aggressive Welsh international. R8. Claude Puel gains revenge on Southampton. Image. Leicester City FC via Getty Images. On the face of it, an 8th place finish in a cup final is a fine season for Southampton. However, such was the drop-off in the Saints' performances and results after the League Cup loss to Manchester United, particularly at home. Claude Puel paid for it with his job. Too defensive, too boring, the suggestion for the Frenchman's exit. Back for the first time with his Leicester side, Puel gained sweet revenge over the Saints' hierarchy, as the Foxes ran riot on the South Coast. His side were first to every ball on the South Coast, while Mauricio Pellegrino's side were lackadaisical at best during a dismal first period when they were put to the sword. Puel's side preyed on the weakness of their hosts, with the movement and speed of Shinji Okazaki and Riyad Mahrez wreaking havoc as they roamed behind Jamie Vardy. Questions were asked of ex-Nice boss Puel when he was hired to replace Craig Shakespeare in October, but he has since led the Foxes to 5 wins in 8 games. None will have been as sweet as this. R9. Winks shows need for patience. Image. 2017 Getty Images. Some of Harry Winks' performances this season for Spurs have shown a maturity beyond the 22-year-old's tender years, going so far as to put the midfielder into World Cup contention. But as Spurs eased to a 2-0 win over Brighton, it could have been more. Winks suffered an off night. It was a rare shaky performance from the usually assured midfielder, with misplaced passes, Winks occasionally being caught in possession, and one moment when groans greeted him for taking the safe option. However, while he was substituted on the hour mark after perhaps his most disappointing hour in a Spurs shirt. He should be commended for not hiding, for continually wanting the ball. LP 10. The proudest man in Proudsville. Image. Camera Sport via Getty Images. At the start of the season, it was little surprise to see Burnley among the favourites for relegation, with questions over their recruitment, spending big on the likes of Jeff Hendrick and Chris Wood, and having lost both Michael Keane and Andre Gray. But after another win on Tuesday, 1-0 over Stoke, their ninth of the campaign, Burnley sits sixth in the table, above Arsenal. They've conceded just 12 times in 17 games. Only the Manchester clubs have conceded less, and have earned 31 points from just 16 goals. Dyche's collection of largely unheralded players are a pragmatic bunch, knowing what they can and can't do, with a manager who is now earning the credit he deserves. Also, while Dyche very much lives in realities, he is daring his side to dream. Dyche is continuing to call for focus, in a bid to see how far his side can go, and the Clarets are currently on course for 69 points, the same amount Man United earned last season. It's little wonder he's the proudest man in Proudsville. Quote, R.